welcome to Student Corner. I'm Douglas Coulter. Well, financial aid is a large part of college, and some students may be surprised to hear that the FAFSA is changing its dates. The free application for federal student aid has moved its start date from January 1st to October 1st. So students are now able to log into their FAFSA accounts and get a head start on next year's financial aid. And for the first time ever, students will now be able to submit their previous year's tax information. The changes will speed up the financial aid process for students who take advantage of it. Now check this out, the Auraria Police Department is hosting a campus safe night. They're not afraid to admit that there are parts of campus that could be safer. So they have invited students, staff, and faculty to attend a safety presentation and then, in groups, take a stroll around campus and point out places that could use improvement. The event is November 10th with no registration required. The Dean's Office is currently in their review process for their annual review of the Code of Conduct to ensure it is up to date. They are now accepting modifications to the code for review. If there is something you would like to see changed or feel something should be in the code, then email the Student Conduct Coordinator by November 4th. A link to that contact information can be found on our website at mymetmedia.com.
Oh boy, the fall colors are in full swing here along the Colorado Front Range. This beautiful shot taken out of Centennial, Colorado. We got the beautiful orange, a little bit of red, just a few trees around town I've seen have a little bit of green left, and the wind that's going to be moving in. It's going to blow all those beautiful colors off the trees. Tomorrow morning as you head out the door, 46 degrees, plenty of sunshine, but look at those winds as we make our way into the afternoon hours, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Again, the sunshine continues. Hey, but we got a lot cooler temperatures, 59 degrees for our high. Now, our wind event on Monday, that was all due to this low pressure system sitting over Kansas and Missouri. That cold front, it swung through our area on Monday. But the cool down on Wednesday, well, that's coming from this cold front. It's going to just grace the Denver area. We might see a few splash and dash thunderstorms across the metro area. Not going to be a washout by any means. I expect mostly sunny skies for our Wednesday. Thursday, though, high pressure system dominating the majority of the western portion of the United States. That's going to give us plenty of sunshine for your Thursday. And hey, just a little bit cooler temperatures than what we'll see on Wednesday. But as you take a look out to the East Coast, that cold front, it pushes along, creating quite a bit of rain all the way up from New York, all the way down into Texas. Wednesday, though, temperatures now the upper 50s for our area. Denver, again, 59 as you head up into the high country, just a little bit cooler. And hey, Arvada and Brighton, they top off at 60 for your Wednesday. Thursday, mid 60s for all of us. Denver, 65 degrees. Going to have beautiful sunny conditions out there, although you might want to trade in your shorts for the sweatpants because we are getting into that time of year. Let's go ahead and dive into our 5-day forecast. You won't need the sweatpants though for Friday. Plenty of sunshine, 78 degrees, and wow, take a look at Saturday, 81 degrees for our weekend. Our average temperature this time of year, well, we're usually right around 64 degrees. Sunday, we got a few of those clouds start to move into the area with a high of 77.
Well, thanks, Josh. The athletic department has decided to bring back an old face for their media relations position. Former soccer star Abby Rolfe has returned to MSU Denver as the director of media relations for the athletic department. The two-time All-American forward played for MSU Denver from 2011 to 2014. Welcome back, Abby. And it's been a long time coming, but the Auraria Library has finally finished its construction. Well, almost. The library has announced a homestretch celebration October 25th and 26th for students, staff, and community members to tour the renovated library and see all the improvements. What's better than calling into work the day after Thanksgiving? Actually having the day off. President Jordan announced this week that all faculty and staff will have the day after Thanksgiving off this year. Jordan said, quote, "Every member of our faculty and staff has worked hard this past year to contribute to the university's successes, and an extra day of holiday leave is a small token of the appreciation the senior leadership team and I feel toward each of you. We think this might just be a goodbye treat from Dr. Jordan." Well, when we come back, our full interview with Professor Moller.
We have two candidates that are surprisingly full of negative numbers, and people dislike them.
As well as a conversation with SGA Senator Aaron Futrell.
It's going to involve superheroes.
Okay.
It's going to involve legends.
Okay.
And it's going to involve your imagination.
October is here, which means it's time for Halloween. All of us here at Met TV have some tips to help you have a safe and fun Halloween.
If you are trick-or-treating this year, avoid trick-or-treating alone.
Also, walk in groups or with a trusted adult.
And only eat prepackaged candy, because you never know what might be in it.
Never enter a home unless you completely trust and know the adult.
If you are planning on drinking, do not drink and drive.
So please, this Halloween season, trick or treat with someone else.
And don't eat homemade candy.
Don't go into a house.
And don't drink and drive.
And have a happy Halloween.
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 From all of us here at Met TV, have a safe and fun Halloween.
Well, we're joined now by political science professor Dr. Moller. Dr. Moller, thank you so much for being here with us today.
My pleasure.
And we just want to have you on to talk about some of the election stuff going on this year. There's a lot going on. Let's start off with the presidential side. It's definitely an interesting race for the White House. We have Donald Trump on the Republican side and Hillary Clinton on the Democrat side. A lot of unique things with this election, but is this election overall unique?
I think it is. I think it's important to realize, especially with students and younger people, that this is an election that, you know, every once in a while we say it's a turning point election. And I think there's some truth to that. We have two candidates that are surprisingly full of negative numbers, and people dislike them. And it's important to realize, though, that when you vote for somebody for president, you don't just get that one person. You get a team that comes with them, representing the D or the R, depending on who you vote for. And along with that are appointments, especially Supreme Court appointments, which are really important, as we have 3 or 4 that are saying they're wanting to retire. And so it's more than just these two personalities. You know, they're not dictators, they're not kings or queens. They're part of the system of government. So my advice to students is to, you know, hold your nose and vote for one of them.
One thing, too, along with that is that there are third-party candidates, this year they're getting more attention than perhaps in past years. Mm-hmm. Is this the year that they do better than normal? Or?
No, not possible.
Yeah.
I know I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but you know, it was 1980 when I was a young child. I remember Anderson kind of being in this third-party mix, and everybody was excited. And it didn't go anywhere. And we've had, of course, Nader. We've had Ross Perot earlier than that. And they serve as spoilers. And, you know, of course, when you ask these candidates, especially Gary Johnson was asked, and it was on Stephen Colbert last night, I think it was, and he went, you know, he went off. He said, I'm not a spoiler, I'm a real candidate. The reality is you're not. You're not a real candidate, and a two-party system requires this big tent ideas that everybody can fit into one camp or the other. And that's because this is the system we have, a presidential system. I can go into it at length and tell you why that is, as opposed to a parliamentary system, which allows for multiple parties, but this is what we got at this point.
Great. And do you ever see us in the near future transitioning into a more three-party system, or do you think
No. What has happened always in our history, and it's not happened much at all, is that a party will die and another one will resurface out of that and form a new party. It doesn't work the other way around, where a third party will come in and press and push one of them out. Is it possible? Maybe. I doubt it very much. This is not like the European parliamentary model, where governments can be out of the game, the governmental game, if one of the minority parties decides to leave the coalition, for example. We don't have that. We have set elections, November, every 4 years, and you know they have a different system over there. We just have a system that is favorable to two parties.
Well, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about some of the polling, because this year the polls have kind of bounced around a little bit between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and they continue to do so with each one of them taking their turn for the lead. How accurate can we, rely on the polling?
It depends on a couple things. The polling institution that you're asking, and most of them are, reputable. And how many people you're asking, whether it's plus or minus 2 or 3 or 4%, just depends on how many that are asked. Usually you ask about 1,000 people, and you get about a plus or minus 3%, and that's pretty good, actually. You don't want to get, if you try to get down to a 1%, you've got to ask like 10,000 people, and that's too much work. So I think they're relatively fair. Polls tend to be skewed in favor of Democrats, especially if you ask somebody, you're going to vote for Donald Trump? They'll say no, just like the student poll here on campus showed one student saying they're voting for Donald Trump. I find that hard to believe. So it's skewed that way in favor of the Democrats, and Rasmussen, for example, that poll actually works that in and says, well, we give a little bit more favor to the Republicans than the Democrats because people are less likely to admit they're a Republican. You know, it's just the way things are. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm not here to judge. That's just the way things are. So as a matter of fact, yes, I would trust polls, but of course the ultimate poll is the one at the polls. That's why we use that term, and that's the official one in November.
Cool. Well, and we have a lot more going on this year other than the presidential elections. So let's talk about some of the statewide initiatives. We have some really interesting ones on up this year for decision. We have Amendment 69, which is the statewide health care, and that's definitely an interesting one. How does that affect students here on campus?
Well, directly, it's hard to say. You know, it depends. Laws are written and then they're implemented, and they can change. Obviously, we know this from the healthcare law that was passed that we call Obamacare, you know, the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, as it's officially known. And that's changed since it was written, and in fact, we heard that we had to pass it to know what was in it and all this kind of stuff. I think there's a big worry about some kind of healthcare Coloradan thing happening. And I think it's going to fail because people are really leery of it after seeing what has happened with the Affordable Care Act. It could help students because, of course, they are, you know, poor. Students are poor at Metro, and they would like to see that. But in the long run, I think most students might look at it as, well, this might affect me when I start making money, and maybe I don't want to do it. So I think it's going to be a tough sell to the Colorado people and even students to a certain extent.
Another one that's gotten a lot of attention, and maybe it doesn't affect us here on campus as much, but it's the Amendment 72. I'm sorry, Amendment 71. And that's the one where where they're going to require signatures from every Senate district in order to get something, up on the chopping block, I guess, for decision. What do you think the impact of that is going to be, and how do you think that's going to play out?
Oh, it's complicated. To start off with, this state in 1876, everybody knows this, Centennial State, we're a Lincolnian state, meaning the people that supported Lincoln's presidency supported the state of Colorado. As such, we have initiative and referenda, which is the policy that states in the East don't have, Virginia, for example, whereas we can put something to the voters that bypasses the legislature. We can also put forth ideas that could go in the Constitution. Both of those should be done sparingly, and we have not done that in this state. We have added so much crap to our Constitution that it's become unrecognizable. So students should take note. For example, when the budget of Colorado was done, 80% of it's already spoken for. We are not included in that 80% as higher ed. K through 12 is, but we're not. So that means that 20% of that budget we have to kick and scream for. And we do a pretty good job, actually. But that's all we get to kick and scream for. Whenever something's added to the Constitution, it makes it a guarantee. It's in there. Constitutions are not meant to be statutory laws. They're meant to be broad laws. So I'm in favor of anything that limits the addition to the Constitution with all this stuff that's out there that hurts higher ed, especially.
So I think that opens the door to my next question, and that's, why should students care, and why should students get out to vote this year?
It's important. I started off with kind of mentioning that this is one of those times that people say, you have to vote this year. It's the most important of these 4 years that you'll have in your lifetime. I doubt that's true, but it is significant because we have two people with such high negatives. And like I said earlier, most of my students don't want to vote for either of them. You know, there are exceptions, especially with Hillary Clinton, that people are excited about her. And Donald Trump doesn't garner the same enthusiasm, especially from people under the age of 25. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But he is, inspiring some people to vote that haven't voted before. This is a trend not just in the United States, but around the world, with parties that are emerging to the center right that are getting some attention. Germany is a good one. It's my main area and my main field. We see new voters voting for the center right ideas that didn't used to be, and I think it's fascinating. But at the same time, some people are scared of it.
Well, Dr. Moller, thank you so much for being here. I could talk,
pleasure.
all day about
Yeah, so
all
could
this
I.
stuff, but the voice in my ear is telling me to wrap it up. So that's all the time we got. But again, thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
What if I told you the reality you know is one of many?
Doctor Strange represents an entirely new aspect to the cinematic universe. Just like in the comics, Doctor Strange deals with parallel dimensions, deals with the multiverse.
The comics are very, very out there, and we've pushed it with how we filmed this.
For movies like this, IMAX is more immersive. Every set piece is an attempt to give audiences visuals and sequences in ways that we haven't seen them done before.
Open your eye.
Steve Ditko is one of the greatest Marvel artists in history, and that we're now able to take what he put in the mid-60s, these trippy comic panels and comic covers, and we now have the technology to put that into big three-dimensional space on a movie screen is amazing, and we're not pulling back.
Have a good trip, Mr. Strange.
Colorado's weather is always changing.
We're student meteorologists trained to keep you safe.
We have the latest weekend forecast and help you prepare for the week ahead.
You can watch our weather forecast on Facebook, Twitter, mymetmedia.com, and on TV.
We help you stay weather aware.
Well, it's been a busy week for SGA with the Campus Week of Action. We sat down and talked with SGA Senator Aaron Futrell and Joshua Gardner. Hey guys, thank you so much, Aaron and Josh, for being here with us today. Just kind of talking about busy week for you guys in the last week. Talk more about what all you guys have been up to.
Do you want to start with the Campus Week of Action?
Sure. Okay, so the Campus Week of Action started on Monday, and that was Sydney's event, right?
Yeah, Consent is Bay.
Yeah.
Consent is before anything else.
Yeah, really clever name, we thought. But so it was like a mock frat party, really introducing and solidifying that whole concept that consent literally is before anything else, and like what is consent even, and like how does that play out in like everyday life as a college student. And
she drew about 120 students, which was, I would say, like 2 snaps, but I can't snap, so like 120. Yeah, she drew about 120 students, so that was our most successful event at last week's Campus Week of Action.
Mm-hmm.
After her event, we did a slam poetry. Again, some snaps there. Like, Matt Austin, one of our senators, did an amazing job sharing his poetry. He'll be he shared some of his poetry tonight at Take Back the Night or whatnot on the 18th.
Yeah, and at that event, it was open mic format, and we had about, was it 5 or so people that performed?
Yeah, about 5.
There were some really cool poems there too, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the underlying theme, I guess, of all these events is obviously bringing us as a campus community, bring us all together. How do you guys feel that went? Did you feel that that's what was achieved?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Absolutely.
Raising awareness about interpersonal violence is something that I ran my campaign last year on, and I will continue to do so because it's something that's really near and dear to my heart. And so I think putting on events like Consent is Bay, Campus Week of Action, Take Back the Night, or We Won't Be That Campus from last year was really, really important because our students don't always know what resources that they have here on campus. And there's like a multitude of resources on campus that could help students when they're in a situation that they may not know how to handle.
Yeah, resources like the Phoenix Center or the wellness centers or counseling centers for different universities and stuff like that.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's definitely great resources to spotlight. So talk about maybe some upcoming events you guys might be working with, maybe just in the planning stages, or what's next?
Oh man.
I don't know. I don't know if we're allowed to
can't
draw.
Say?
I don't know if we're allowed to.
Just yet.
Okay.
This has been the big thing for this semester. We've planned for this since July. So.
Well, Do we want to give him a little hint? Like
just a tease.
Sure. Go for it. Go for it.
All right. We'll give you a tease. All right. It's going to involve superheroes.
Okay.
It's going to involve legends.
Okay.
And it's going to involve your imagination.
All right.
So use your imagination and
There we go.
putting those together. But it's going to be great. It's going to be a tri-institutional event, and hopefully like March or April, sometime in the near future next semester.
So if your curiosity is like really killing you, and you want to be part of the committee, guarantee you want to be part of the committee, come see us in room 307. We're there Monday. I know Josh and myself are there Mondays, starting at 8 till about 11, and then we have to turn into like students.
Yeah, we're definitely always looking for help with people actually bringing their own ideas and just collaborating with us and creating these events. So
what's the best way that people can get in contact with you guys if they have an idea for an event or they want to help with an event? What's the best way?
Probably to visit our office. Like you said, Tivoli 307 is right above the Starbucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Always looking for looking for bright minds, people that are committed to basically sustaining Aurora campus when we're gone. Because I know I'm gone in about a year.
Well, I'm a sophomore, so I
so you got time.
But yeah, we're definitely always looking for more people to help out.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much for being here with us today, and good luck on the planning. Can't wait to hear more.
Thank you.
When we come back, students react to the elections and my closing thoughts.
At Metropolitan State University of Denver, our mission is to provide high-quality, accessible education that prepares our students for successful careers, postgraduate education, and lifelong learning in a global and technological society. Our values of diversity, access, and community help us provide opportunities for our students from all over the globe. In fact, we've just been named a diversity champion by Insight into Diversity magazine for 2016. Because at MSU Denver, we believe in transforming lives.
Drop that baby.
Well, the elections are just around the corner, and Miranda McCodgkins joins me now. And Miranda, you actually went around campus and got students' responses to this year's election.
That's right, Douglas. I did. So only 45% of young people ages 18 to 29 voted in the 2012 presidential election. So I wanted to see if and who they are voting for. I talked to around 40 students and got some pretty interesting responses. So out of the 2 days I spent interviewing people, I only found one person who was voting for Trump, and most were either undecided or voting for Hillary. And a few others were voting for third parties. But most of the students said they are voting, and those who aren't voting for president said they are still voting, but just for senators, local representatives, and then Colorado amendments.
Are you voting in this presidential election?
Yes.
Why?
Because I feel that we are at a time where two things are going to go down, and if one thing goes down, we're screwed.
Are you voting in this presidential election?
Yes.
Why?
Why? I'm not voting because I'm kind of in a state of confusion between who to choose, because with Donald Trump, he kind of says some smart and also kind of racial remarks, but also with Hillary, it's kind of like scam after email and all this other stuff.
I think it really matters. If you want to make a difference in the country, you really need to take your chance and take your vote. If you don't vote, you can't really complain about anything.
Probably for issues, but probably not for a candidate.
Are you voting?
I am.
Why?
Because my parents want me to. So.
Well, I feel like it's mostly important to vote for Senate and Congress, so that's the main reason I'm voting. But I vote in every election.
I think we have a responsibility as citizens of this nation to enact upon the rights that we were given in the Constitution.
What do you think of the current presidential election and everything that's been going on?
Yikes. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing yet, but I definitely you just need to educate yourself on it.
Honestly, I think it's more entertaining than what it should be, because I think we're screwed either way, but oh well. It's only 4 years, right?
I honestly don't care much about the presidential election. I feel like the president is more of a figurehead. That's why I feel like it's more important to vote on congressmen, senators, laws, things like that.
It's a little ridiculous. It seems like we've fallen into an episode of a sitcom or a poorly written TV show, but I mean, we did this to ourselves, so who else can we blame?
In general, I'd say that they aren't discussing the issues, but if you go online, you can look at the issues. If you're watching the debates, you're probably wasting your time.
It's politics with more media. It's always been bad, so we just see a lot more of it.
4 years makes a big difference, and I think that, yeah, it's important to get out to vote, but overall, I don't think that the election's really going to go the way I would like to see it go, so I just gotta sit back and wait.
Do you mind if I ask you who you are voting for?
I'd rather not say, but yeah, I'd rather not say.
The fact that we are in a country in which supports the ideas of liberties among women, people of color, educated individuals such as ourselves, you mean to tell me that we have people openly voting for someone misogynistic and racist? Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I paid attention in class of World War II. We're voting the next Hitler in line. I'm not okay with that.
When your choices are Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and Gary Johnson, you have 3 bowls of crap.
Hillary.
Why?
Anti-Trump. I think this election goes a little bit more than, it goes deeper than Democrats and Republicans, and it's more personal for me, so anything but Trump.
I feel like this is the first election in my entire life where I'm not excited about any of them. In fact, I'm disgusted by both of the major candidates, so yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to vote or not.
Trump.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why?
Because I think Hillary Clinton should be in jail. She's definitely a criminal.
I was originally voting for Hillary when I thought that my vote would mean that Trump would not be elected, but now I'll probably vote for Jill Stein.
Well, I'm probably going to wind up writing in Bernie Sanders in the end anyway. Just cause. I mean, just to send that message, just like, hey, look, Democratic Party, you had your chance and you blew it. So, and if I accidentally get Donald Trump elected by writing in Bernie Sanders, I'm sorry. So sorry.
So do you know who's running for the Democratic Party?
Yeah, it's Trump and Clinton.
Out of the two, who's running Republican?
Republican, that would be Hillary, right?
And then who's running Democratic?
Trump.
Do you know who's running for the Republican Party for president?
Yes.
Who?
Donald Trump.
And who's running for the Democratic Party?
Hillary Clinton. Crazy. It's crazy.
And now for today's closing thoughts. The elections are now just weeks away, and we are constantly bombarded to go out and vote. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. Sure, you can decide not to vote. That's your decision. But that also means that you lose your right to complain about the results. Sure, you may think your vote doesn't count because at the end of the day, there are thousands, if not millions of votes cast. But using that logic is like LeBron James giving up baskets during the NBA Finals because it's only worth 2 points. And at the end of the game, it's only 2 points out of 100. If the whole team had that attitude, there wouldn't be any points to be scored. At the end of the game, that 1 or 2 baskets could be the difference of the game. With millions of people forfeiting their right to vote each election cycle, that could be the difference of the game. So sure, you can decide not to vote this election season. It's your choice. But that's missed points at the end of the game. Well, that's all the time we have for this week on Student Corner. A special thanks to Dr. Moller, Joshua Gardner, and Aaron Futrell. For all the latest events and campus news throughout the week, be sure to follow Student Corner on Facebook and visit our website at mymetmedia.com. Thanks for watching.